Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Hi Tushar.
Hello Sanjeev.
And welcome to the Rotormouth show.
T.
No, I don't like that.
No? We'll have to do another theme.
No, I want the Airwolf theme.
I want the Ram Rakhan theme.
Okay, we'll have two versions.
Chalega.
So, this week we were speaking about Auto Expo.
Auto Expo. Yes, indeed.
And it is topical again because you mentioned VW, and the VW group brands have decided to give the Auto Expo a skip next year.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise because...
Not really actually.
No, not you?
No, because I was reading, because I was telling you that there were rumors about, and which even from where we got the news the people have been speaking about, is a lot of other brands are also thinking of backing out.
Yeah, but the VW group, it's such a large group. So you've got your Audi, you've got Volkswagen, you've got Skoda. These guys, they make, in a sense, they make the show because they have such huge pavilions. They've got lots of products to show. The last time I was at the Auto Expo, which was 2016, again, we had a bunch of things at the Audi stall to see. And generally, they put a lot of effort into it. They put a lot of money into their pavilion. And I don't know, it feels weird that such a large group is not going to be there.
Let's be very, very clear and address it for what it is. It costs a few crores, a substantial amount, to set up a pavilion. Then, as we had heard last time from Rajiv Bajaj saying it very openly, saying that it takes a few more crores to create prototypes.
Right.
Then, for the kind of money you're spending in the Auto Expo, you can do these launches in 5 stars at 1/10 or 1/12 of the price. So the logic behind what happens is why they want to back out also from the pavilion is, as you and me both discussed this on the bulletin, was the kind of crowd and the kind of return on investment they're getting in terms of even branding.
Right. Yeah, well, I guess it all boils down to cost really. But then I'm not sure what the driving factor was in the first place for participation in these things, because this is not new. We discussed this amongst each other, how the Auto Expo has become larger and larger over the years.
Yeah.
I think it's the largest in Asia now.
Largest in Asia.
And I think you mentioned it was second largest
in the world.
Which is a significant thing. But at the same time, with a larger scale comes larger responsibilities, larger problems. So crowd control has become an issue.
And the quality of crowd especially, because the kind of crowd that is being called, and especially being held in Greater Noida, being Delhi, everybody knows everybody. So on the media days, you have people coming in who have nothing to do with the media. So I think also what's happening with brands now is brands are seeing the kind of influx. Like you said, there's a lot of people turning up.
Yeah.
But the quality of people turning up is not what the brands want.
Do you think it's as simple for brands? Because, for example, if you're going to spend your marketing money in, say, social media, or you're going to do influencer marketing, right? You're going to get a certain sort of crowd. If you do traditional marketing through
you get a certain kind
advertising
of
on TV or on print, you get a certain kind of crowd. So tell me something, in terms of marketing spends, when you're talking about participation in a show like this, I assume that the marketing department has a certain target in mind, I'm not sure if it's just branding. If we are talking about crowd and quality of crowd, then I'm assuming engagement with a certain type of audience is a concern. It will be different with influencer marketing, say social media, print publication, advertising, or TV. So what do you think they're expecting from, does Audi, for example, actually expect an almost like a 3 to 6 month potential customer to walk in, look at the cars like, oh yeah, this is nice, I think I'm going to go to a dealer and buy it?
See, originally, now I'm digressing a bit, but originally when auto shows have started, as with any industry in the world, at the end of it, there is a trade angle involved. They want to sell products. They want the potential customer to walk in. But what is happening worldwide, and not just in India, and India maybe more so because we don't have the kind of crowd control facilities that they have internationally. So what's happening is, to answer your question, is one is when Audi puts up a stall here, at the heart of it, they are expecting engagement of a sort where the media would come in and give it the kind of coverage that they want, which they get. So that is sorted. But now the customer, the potential customer that the dealers would bring in, I think that is not happening firstly. And secondly, why it's also not a focus area for them, because in the last 5 years, if you've seen, every company has started doing customer related events, customer experience events as they are called. So that is a more focused way of doing things. So I think what's happening is keeping all these things in mind. And this is again my take. I really don't know the inside story. I feel what's happening is they've felt it. Okay, if we spend 15 crores on 4 days, we rather spend that money over a period of a year, do 8 or 10 events across the country, and target the customers who actually buy cars.
Anyway, so costs basically. You're saying costs are the key factor in these people.
I guess. Yeah, because
pulling out.
Yeah, because if you're spending X amount of money, otherwise you think of it, why does a man like Rajiv Bajaj, who has such a strong base, with the kind of turnover that they're doing, this is not too much for them.
And he's not the only one. Royal Enfield also did the same thing last time.
Ducati also didn't. Ducati, Harley, I think they weren't present also.
Yeah, you're right.
And these people have been present at other smaller shows.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they are not present directly. They do it through dealers, but still they are still present.
Not a good sign, yeah. Not a good sign at all.
So if I was organizing the Auto Expo, would I be scared? I don't think so, because as mentioned, Peugeot, Kia are the new entrants in our market. And I think they have confirmed their participation.
Right.
And the big boys of automotive, that is Maruti, Hyundai, Mahindra, Ford, they are not going anywhere.
And the Sunny Deol, Jackie Shroff and Nasiruddin Shah of the automotive industry, the Tridev, that is ACMA, CII and CM. These are the guys behind the Auto Expo. So
this sounds very scary, these names. A
na?
lot of what and wasn't.
Kadak
thing to it. Yeah?
Vajan wala.
CII and CM and ACMA.
Yeah, Automotive Component Manufacturers Association. Which is another thing actually. The show has now split. Earlier it was in Pragati Maidan, and now it's split, where it's part Pragati Maidan for the hardcore trade and the ancillaries part, and you know the stuff that people actually want to see is in Noida, which is 30 kilometers
Tell me
away.
about that particular segment. That show, I believe, I was speaking to people the last time, they said that show is actually doing far better than this one.
I imagine so. Again, circling back to the kind of engagement you're getting. If it's a pure trade show, you know, you're talking about auto ancillaries, which are really nothing to look at. You know, if you're talking about the bits that go inside vehicles, they're not sexy.
Right.
They're not something that everybody is going to want to see. So naturally, only the people that are specifically interested in it in terms of a business are going to be going there. So it makes sense that it would be doing better, because that audience is not going to change. It's only going to either remain the same or improve. Speaking about the crowd, man, I'm sure everybody I know has got some crazy story.
So tell us your crazy story.
So I've seen fist fights. I've seen fist fights at the Auto Expo over a USB drive.
Okay.
Now, it's kind of sad really, and it does make me a little bit ashamed, but you know what? I'm not going to judge. Maybe there are desperate people out there who desperately need
a USB drive.
A USB drive,
and they're fighting for
secondary storage, man. Roti, kapda, makan,
Roti, kapda, and makan, and USB drive.
USB drive.
So now it's the fourth segment to it.
Wohi hoga, yaar, because it's crazy. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was at the Volkswagen stall where they showed the Tiguan last year, and we checked it out, and there were handlers around to make sure that nobody damaged it and
damaged what
the cars. Yeah, the VW group is very, very specific and very careful about their vehicles. They actually have these detailing guys on the floor. So the moment somebody goes, opens the door, touches the glass, and there's like smudges or whatever. They will run in with this little spritzer bottle and go puss.
Achha, I thought they run after you.
No, they don't run with me. No, they don't do that. And they'll clean off the smudges and the fingerprints and all that. It's very cool. But they made sure that their cars were in tip-top shape. But what they could not handle was the massive crowd of in quotations journalists. I don't know if they were actually journalists.
No, they were not journalists.
There were a whole bunch of camera people and just people lining up at the PR stall where they give out press kits. And it's so horrible to see. People will be fighting, jumping over each other, grabbing things, having fist fights because the press kits have run out, and then they will win the fist fight, get the press kit, which is basically a paper bag, come to the side, open it up, see that there's nothing in it, take out the piece of paper which is a press release and throw it on the floor. Ye kya hai?
No.
And walk away.
My story was at the Suzuki stall. I think the Suzuki motorcycle stall. There were these women who were giving out these press kits. And the crowd got so unruly that these women, because they come from a PR background and they have not been trained, nobody is trained to handle an environment like this.
Of course.
Unless you've worked in a war. So this was like being in a chaotic situation. So suddenly these women actually ran away from the stall. And I had a fellow journalist who was telling me that he had to actually, one of the women came running to him. They asked him who he is. He's like, they were asking him for his number. And she said, no, I need you to help me get away from the crowd, because the crowd started chasing her. So he actually took her outside the hall.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you have these sad situations happening over there, I don't blame a lot of manufacturers for pulling out, because if this is what we're going to be getting from
I
there.
am telling you, next year, Auto Expo will do live podcast.
I think the worst situation at Auto Expo, particularly when there's a launch, is when they call upon celebrities.
Like Katrina Kaif was called for Jaguar.
Like Katrina Kaif. Oh my God. It was insane. I was part of the crowd, and then suddenly it swells, and suddenly on the left, on the right, there's just people, and I'm getting increasingly compressed. I haven't been like this since I was doing Bandra to Churchgate during college.
Okay.
During actual rush hours where you had to just squeeze into the Western
So
line.
you felt like that?
Yeah, it was like that. It was insane. And it wasn't just, young people. It was young people. It was old people. It was balding uncles. It was children. You were getting smacked left, right and center. You were getting slapped, scratched. I don't know what the hell was going on. I actually got slammed against a wall. Luckily, the wall was like one of those temporary structures made out of wood and fabric or whatever. But I could have been thrown into another stall or something.
So we entered bang when this event was about to start. And I had people behind me who are from the organizing committee, behaving like school children who are being given free toffees. Even they don't behave so badly.
Organizing committee?
Yes, organizing committee, because I saw their badges hanging and they were pushing me around. They're like, oh, we want to get ahead. We want a photograph with Katrina. Yes, so this is our Auto Expo stories.
Oh, there's just, it goes on and on, man. Unfortunately, it's become a bit like a picnic for Delhi Vasis.
So on that note, we say goodbye to Auto Expo, and hopefully we shall be there next year if we feel.
Yeah, definitely not goodbye, because there's no way we can avoid it. We've got to be there.
Okay, so we shall be there next year and reporting live from there.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the other side of the break.
Yeah.
Are you confused about your future education options?
Not sure about whether you should be doing an MBA?
Or if design school is the right fit for you?
Are you worried about how you would finance your education?
Find answers to this and a lot more education-related topics on this podcast.
Hi, my name is Akhil Daswani. I'm the CEO and co-founder of OnCourse.
Hi, my name is Alisha Mashruwala. I'm the CEO and co-founder of OnCourse.
And we both are your co-hosts for the OnCourse podcast. Tune in every Monday on the IVM podcast app or any other podcast app you may like.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Sanjeev. I hope you had a good pace.
You said welcome back after I said welcome back.
Yeah, so we have to welcome each other.
No, we're not welcoming each other.
Abhi kya?
Abhi kya, Mercedes launched, na? You went for it to check it.
Yeah, long wheelbase E-Class, which was...
but the diesel, right?
The diesel. Okay, so background. You know the business aspects of Mercedes. You've been very excited about it, I remember.
Absolutely.
Even on the scripting side, you were like, but they've done this, they've done that.
Yes.
Explain.
See, what has happened is when the long wheelbase came out, as was the case, media went crazy because everybody went to town saying, oh, this is fantastic, which you expect. And Mercedes did this different thing where they made these guys drive in chauffeur-driven cars where they got to enjoy the rear seat. And as you pointed out also, the rear seat has some insane amount of legroom.
Yes.
So now they've sold close to, I think, 3,000 units. 3,000 units.
Over
right?
3,000.
Over 3,000 units from the time they've launched. And it has really put a dent in the competitors' market, because it is doing exceptionally well, and at that price, you're getting some insane amount of features.
So what I saw on the PowerPoint slides that they were putting up, over 3,000 units, of course, is significant. Particularly, they're talking about the first quarter, right?
Yeah,
Jan to March.
Yes,
which is damn good. And this is the third E-Class that they're launching, third E-Class variant that they're launching in 3 months. They started with, I think, the petrol, the E200 petrol, then they had the E350 diesel, and now the one that I went to see was the, probably, I think it's going to be one of the most popular ones, the E220D.
You know, the E-Class was the first Mercedes produced in India in the 90s.
So I heard. So there's a lot of history there.
There's a lot of history, and it was produced at the older factory space. I had met a gentleman called Pradeep Srinivas, who's now working with Mercedes Germany. He was telling me about the history of the place. So it has a lot of significance for them as a brand, because it's one of their premier models and best-selling, I think. Would it be one of the best-selling models in India?
Probably will. I don't know, we'll have to see the numbers, but I don't know, it you know how we Indians react to when you're given a range. Nobody wants the absolute low end. Nobody's going to be buying the bare, basic, cheapest C-Class.
Right.
You'll typically have something higher that becomes more popular. So I'm sure that probably works in the same way across ranges.
So
as well.
Tell me one thing, 5 things you like about this car.
First of all, long wheelbase. There's just no escaping it. Long wheelbase.
What is long wheelbase?
Long wheelbase basically means that the distance between the front wheels and the back wheels is more than the standard car.
Okay.
So like if you had it almost looks like a stretch limo. You know,
Okay.
where the car looks like it's stretched out, and it's primarily done for rear passenger comfort. Obviously, I mean, you don't really buy a big luxury car to drive it yourself. You will occasionally, but generally you're going to be the Saab sitting at the back.
Okay, so it's long wheelbase.
So long wheelbase, no, it's not just long wheelbase. This long wheelbase bears like a 10-minute discussion. It's crazy. If you look at the car, you open the rear door. The rear door, of course, is longer. It looks physically longer. You open it and you look at the inside, and there's still the standard seats. You've not got your first class cabin type plush seats, but there's so much space there that now the rear seat will recline. Just like the front seats recline, the rear seat also reclines, which is something that you will see only in rather high-end luxury cars. And of course, well, this is a high-end luxury car, but it's something.
So you have massage and all?
I don't think you have massage in those seats, but so the seats recline at the back. So the space, the reclining seats, that's a big thing. But again, the leg room is ridiculous. I mean, I was looking at the amount of space that you've got when you put your feet down, and you can get a tail malish, a champi, in the back of a Mercedes E-Class. You can have the malish wala sit on the seat, and you can sit underneath between his legs, and you can get a tail malish and champi in the E-Class. It's that big. There's so much space for your legs. I mean, the area, the footwell is so big that you can sit as a karvat laga ke and you can have a champi. I was trying to do the numbers. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the specs, but while the S-Class is, of course, Mercedes is large.
I have a joke for that which you're not going to let me say.
No, I will let you say it. Let me give you the specs though. The S-Class is the larger car still. It's 200 millimeters longer than the E-Class. But see, the thing is that length is not everything. On the one hand, you've got the tip-to-tip length, then you've got the wheelbase, and then you've got the actual sort of enclosed space which is occupied by passengers.
Okay.
So the distance between the front wheels and the rear wheels, the wheelbase,
Okay.
when you stretch that, then you've got actual space for humans. And they've actually stretched that. So there's so much space for the rear passengers. So like I said, you can actually sit, definitely a couple of, if you've got like under 10-year-old kids, 2 of them will sit in one footwell. So you could like, you could have like a bacha party over there.
So
you could have a picnic.
So in what I'm understanding is the Mercedes E-Class, you can have a party.
Yeah.
Kid party.
Yeah.
You can have tail malish.
Yeah. You can get pedicures. You can get pedicures done. Yeah.
3 things. You can take a 4-day holiday inside it.
Certainly.
Keep the car running all the time.
Yeah.
So 4 things can be done.
Yeah.
And the 5th thing is you get to drive a luxury car.
You get to drive or ride in a... Oh, also, big important thing, and we have to mention this, the engine. The engine is all new. It's a 2-liter diesel.
Okay.
All aluminium. It weighs only 168 kilos, which actually makes no difference to anybody's
Yeah, it doesn't.
life.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, but point is that it's technologically advanced. It's a 2-liter diesel, 2000cc diesel.
Okay.
Makes 192 horsepower, which is quite a lot. 400 newton meters of torque, quite a lot. Should be quite adequate for this size of a car. It might not be blazing fast,
Okay.
but definitely adequate. Good mileage will be delivered. So, just generally it's got that nice package. It'll be light, it'll be efficient, it'll be reasonably fast. Lots of things also, which is something I was surprised with. They only have one variant. They have the E220D, this is what you get. It gets a panoramic sunroof. It gets 64 color lighting. So you can have a full dance bar kind of situation.
So now we have gone from a kid party to dance bar. This is the complete...
basically, the entire segment, the entire range of audience is catered to.
This is how we...
Basically, Mercedes E-Class, E220D, Kadak, long wheelbase, lots of space, champi karo, pedicure karo.
Have a party.
57.14 lakh rupees, ex-showroom, Pune. So there you go.
Okay, Tushar, at this note, this is it for this week. We shall see you on the other side next week.
Thank God, I'm getting hungry.
Where are we going?
Where are we going?
Achha, you're going somewhere. Okay, great. Okay, chalo. That's it for today. We are Rotormouthing on Facebook and Twitter. Like our page, follow us on Twitter and subscribe to the podcast on the IVM podcast app or any other podcast app that you like.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out IVM Podcasts to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.